Good afternoon, Talking Sticks family. This is your host, Croomy, back here with another episode of Talking Sticks. And today, I have the absolute pleasure to be here with a great person who has their own business, Winston Faison, the owner of Aviation for Us. Good afternoon, Winston.
Good afternoon, my brother.
How's everything?
I'm doing well.
Thank you for answering the DM and the text messages to come on the show to talk about Aviation for Us. But before we start, please tell us where we are and where we're doing this interview and the place that houses Aviation for Us.
Absolutely. So I work for the NYPD.
Oh, okay, yes.
I'm in the rank of inspector.
Yes, okay.
And I work for the Community Affairs Bureau.
Nice.
So we are sitting at 127 Pennsylvania Avenue, the NYPD Community Center in East New York, Brooklyn.
Okay. So everyone just write that down right now and we'll get back to it once he talks more about Aviation for Us. And once he talks about how he got to the rank of inspector a little bit, if he breaks that down, let it be known about that and about who he is. But we're gonna jump right into this.
Absolutely.
Okay? So I'm gonna virtually ask you, what is Aviation for Us?
Aviation for Us is a program that I designed to introduce young men and women in inner cities to aviation field, in a nutshell. So basically, I started flying when I was older in my life. I started flying 6 years ago.
Okay.
So growing up in East New York, Brooklyn, I still live in East New York, Brooklyn. Always wanted to learn how to fly, but either I didn't know any pilots, it was inaccessible, and financially it was blocked because aviation is expensive.
Okay.
So as I got older, started working at NYPD, earning a little bit more money. I met a couple of pilots and I had the opportunity to learn how to fly. So I fly out of Farmingdale, Long Island. I was flying for a couple of years. I got my private pilot. I went all the way up to a certified flight instructor.
Okay.
And as I was flying, I always noticed there was no one at the airport that looked like me.
Ah.
So I said, this is something I love to do. I didn't have the opportunity to do it. So when I do get my certifications, I want to make sure I go back to the community and at least expose and share some aviation with someone who was like me, who didn't have the opportunity.
Okay, so let me get back to some things real quick. So you broke it down that you had a passion for flying, and you said that you're an inspector for the New York City Police Department, which is, for those who know, it's a prestigious rank. So I'm happy to be able to sit down and have this conversation with you. But what else about Winston Faison? Like, what school did you go to? What brought about the passion for flying? If you could break that down and tell some of the viewers.
So, like I said, I was born and raised in East New York.
Okay.
I went to public school out here. I graduated from Thomas Jefferson High School right down the block.
Okay.
I still live in East New York. I think every young person wants to fly a plane. That's just something, you look in the sky, you see a plane flying over, you're like, wow, I wonder, Mm-hmm. When you're young, you see people drive cars, you want to drive a car.
True.
So when you're older, as young, you look in the skies, you see a plane flying by, everybody's saying, wow, I wonder where they're going, or I wish I could be there, or who's piloting that plane. Mm-hmm. But since the aviation field is so inaccessible, we don't see anyone doing it, we don't feel that it's attainable for us. Mm. So I always was about aviation, always wanted to learn to fly. It was just, one, I was kind of nervous of flying, and I had to get over that hurdle.
Okay.
And but once I got over it, it was like, I love it. I'm an airplane owner now. I can go to the airport, jump in my plane, and fly to Philly to get a cheesesteak and fly back.
So there was no military background?
No military background. I learned on my own.
Anybody in your family was,
Nope. I'm the first pilot in my family. I just met a certified flight instructor who taught me, and I just paid him hourly.
Okay.
And I took the test, the exams, the FAA exams.
So how was it your first time flying then?
Oh, it was nerve-wracking. It's something you want to do, but nerve-wracking because we fly a single engine, 4-seater plane. Okay. So it's not like JetBlue. So of course you feel the bumps a little bit, but you're controlling the plane. And once you start controlling the plane, that kind of nervousness leaves you. For example, if you're in a car and you're in the back seat,
okay,
and the driver is driving crazy. You're in the back seat like, yo, slow down, you're gonna hurt me, right?
Yeah.
If you drive in a car and you're weaving out of traffic, you feel more comfortable because you're in control of the car. It's the same thing with a plane. If you're flying, the plane goes to the right a little bit, you're controlling the plane, so it's not as nervous as if you're sitting in the back seat and you're not in control of the plane.
So then how was it your first time being up in the air? First of all, how far were you up? And then how was it seeing the skyline and or looking down?
You know, being a pilot, you see everything from a different perspective. You know, it's not a lot of pilots. You figure about, out of this country, 5% of people are pilots, right?
Okay.
And then you narrow it down, African Americans is probably about 0.1% of that, 0.1% of that 5%. But just looking from 3,000 feet, looking down, and being able to go where you want to go is like amazing. It's freedom.
Okay.
It's freedom. So sometimes I go to the airport just to clear my mind. I take a flight in Long Island, just fly around, do donuts in the sky, and you know, listen to some music, and you know, it's just the freedom of flying. Pretty dope.
So that's your way of clearing your mind.
And I spend a lot of time training adults and young adults.
Okay.
How to fly. So that's my real passion. When I can bring somebody, sit them on the left seat, the pilot seat, and I'm on the right side, and I can take them up flying, and I can sign their hours off, and they can utilize that to get their private pilot certificate.
Okay. Well, you got into a lot, and I mean, I might have to reach out to you to actually, like, you know, to see how it is, to go up there, pay for a trip, and see how it is. But what's taught for the young men and women here at Aviation Force? How is it broken down into sections? How long is the course for? If you mind talking about that.
So this Aviation Force course is a 9-week session.
Okay.
I have 4 sessions in a year. 4 sessions in a year. We just started our winter session. Actually, today is the first class for the 17 through 19. So it's a 9-week program. I take from 14 to 19.
Okay.
I break them down into ages, so 14 through 16 and 17 through 19. They meet once a week. 14 to 16 meets every Monday.
Okay.
From 4:30 to 6, hour and a half. 17 through 19 meet every Wednesday, 4:30 to 6 for 9 weeks. We have a curriculum. We break everything down. They go from everything from airspace, charts, weather, communication, emergency procedures, parts of the plane. We go through what you need to take the written exam. So it's not watered down. So anybody who become a pilot, this information is what they have to study.
Okay.
So we do that for 9 weeks. Between the 8th and the 9th week, all the students, we take them to Long Island.
Okay.
And they all get the opportunity to fly.
Wow.
And then at the end of the session, we do a ceremony upstairs. I give them an aviation for a certificate. The parents come, they can take pictures. It's a good time.
Okay. During those 8 and 9 weeks, how do you see the kids adjusting or transitioning between each curriculum that they're going through?
So think about this. If you let a child fly an airplane, right? Mm-hmm. Actually, because they are actually navigating that airplane with the information I give them. Think about the confidence building that is. Think about any other problems they encounter after that. They can always say, if I was able to fly an airplane, I can do just about anything. So it's a confidence builder. It's expanding their minds. Even if they're not going to be a pilot, mm-hmm. at least they're doing something 99.99% of the people they know never did or never thought they could do.
Or will do sometime.
Or will do. And you're talking 14, 15, 16 years old flying a plane. So it's a confidence builder. And it's not just for the kids. The parents, I do testimonies.
Okay.
In my, because I have a Facebook and an Instagram account, and I do testimonies with the parents, and they'll talk about how their child changed throughout the program.
Okay.
and I think they enjoy it more than some of the students sometimes. So I like it. I love it.
Let me ask you this one question. I totally forgot. Why the name Aviation Force? Because I always ask that when I'm doing my interviews, because a name, a business name, it is something special to the owner. But I always say that once the people that are supporting you, or the people that are about to patronize you and send their kids here, whatever, sometimes we have questions on, well, why the owner named this, or why did the owner start this? So I'm asking you, what's the inspiration behind the name Aviation Force?
Originally I had a different name, and I dreamt this name. I swear, I dreamt this.
Let's hear the story.
So I woke up the next morning and I was like, I'm doing this for people like me.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for people who grew up and financially wasn't able to spend the money to be a pilot. It's very expensive. You talking minimum $225 an hour, and you need 40 hours of flight time minimum just to take the private pilot. That's just a private pilot. If you want to go in the airlines, you need 1,500 hours. You multiply that, it could be very expensive. So this program is targeted for people like us.
Yes.
So it was one of the simplest names, but it was the most impactful, and it just hit me like Aviation for us. Aviation is for us, and that's what it was.
Nice. How long? So the kids only do one flight session, or they do a few?
So the goal is I want each student to do minimum 2.
Okay.
I would like minimum 2. So if we do from week 1 to week 3, they can go up, get a feel of the plane.
Yeah.
And then from week 3 to week 8, they can apply the information, because when you do it, you can relate it to something. So when you study it, you're like, okay, I was on the plane. And then when you do it the second time, you have more of a grasp. However, aviation is expensive.
Yes.
And I want to make sure I touch as many as I can. So right now they only do one flight between week 8 and week 9, because financially this program is not being funded by like NYPD.
Okay.
This program is only being funded by people from the community.
Okay.
And it's normally from Facebook, or they go to my website, aviationforus.com, they can donate. So it's just donations from the community. So instead of taking a group of 20 and letting them fly 3 times, I'd rather get a group of 60 fly once.
Okay. Well, so I know behind this is what we consider like a simulator.
Yes.
How is there a big difference between the simulator and flying, and how do the kids relate to the simulator versus being up there for their first time?
So the simulator is really good to learn the instruments, how the plane work, how it reacts to different inputs.
Okay.
It's like driving a car. You can go into the arcade. You can, reverse is this, drive is this, but it's a little different when you're flying. It's a little different when you're flying, but it's the beginning of learning just the basics about aviation, the airplane itself.
Okay.
And then a lot of students, before they come to my class, they already been on the simulators. These young kids, that's what they do. They've been on simulators. They already know how to communicate with ATC. They already know the traffic patterns. They already know airport diagrams. These kids come in already prepared.
Wow.
And I train both adults and kids. Adults are the worst students.
So these kids are on point.
On point. We had a flight. I had a flight last week with a young 14-year-old man, kid. Amazing. First time in the plane, he was flying as if he had 30 hours in the plane.
Wow.
And we was doing turns to headings, no problem. Holding altitude, steep turns. Normally when I take my student up for the first time, I don't do steep turns or power on, power off stalls. He was so good, I gave him power off stalls, steep turns, and he was nailing it. So I think the young kids is so much into the computers and all that, it just comes natural.
That's amazing to hear. I mean, I love to see athletic kids. I love to see, I'm a basketball fan. I love to see basketball, football, these kids excelling. But just to hear, like, because I never thought about flying a plane or the term aviation, I don't really pick it up maybe until senior year of high school, college, or based off of what I'm gonna do after college, and you look into the military and aspects like that. But to hear, you have 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, and for you to say that it's like
picking it up,
coming natural, secondhand to them. It's amazing. So what do you mean by like steep turn and everything like that for like a kid, since he caught on so fast?
Okay, so in order to get your private pilot certificate, you have to do certain maneuvers.
Okay.
So basically, in order to get your private pilot, you need 4 hours flight hours. You got to take a written exam, and then you got to take an oral and a practical exam.
Oh, okay.
So the oral exam is a DPE, as a examiner. That person will sit in the plane with you, and you will be flying them around like a driving test.
Okay.
And you got to do certain maneuvers. One of the maneuvers you have to do is a steep turn. So a steep turn is when you bank the plane to a 45-degree bank.
Okay.
And then you have to go from, if you're doing the east heading, you got to keep your heading, 45-degree bank turn back to an east heading, and then do it to the left, and then do it to the right. So that's one of the hardest maneuvers that some private students have to do.
Okay.
It's pretty difficult to do, but he did it on the first time.
Wow.
But there's a bunch of maneuvers you have to do in order to get signed off to get your private pilot certificate.
Okay.
That's just one of them.
All right. So, you giving the viewers a little bit. I'm gonna tell y'all that if y'all are really, really interested, you really want to learn what to do, how to fly a plane, your best bet is to come to Aviation for us. If you're not in New York, take a little vacation, come stay down in the hotel, and take the course at Aviation for us.
Yeah. I always say start with a discovery flight. Anybody can do it. You go to the airport, and it doesn't even have to be with Aviation for us. But if you really are interested, go to any flight school. Say you want to do a discovery flight. It can be from anywhere from $200 to $300. You go up with a certified flight instructor. He will take you up, do certain maneuvers, and then you will know when you land, you're either going to love it or hate it.
Okay.
But most people are going to love it, and if you love it, then you continue training.
Okay. So the Talking Six question of the hour, I'm more to just go straight into it. The Talking Six question of the hour is, what can the Talking Six family expect from Aviation for us in the near future?
So right now we are at 127 Penn.
Okay.
In Brooklyn. We want to expand to each borough.
Wow.
The next borough I want to go to is the Bronx.
Why the Bronx?
Because I want to go to places where young men and women need something else
to do.
Something else to do. Brooklyn, Bronx, and then so forth. So, this program here, I have students traveling from Bronx, Long Island, Jersey, just to come to this program. So I just want to expand it a little bit more.
Okay. Where can everyone find you at on social media?
All right, social media, you go to my Instagram, and it's Aviation, the number 4, us_.
Okay.
I only have Instagram. I got to get a Facebook. My Facebook is my private Facebook account, Winston.Faison. Always go to my website.
Okay, what's that?
Aviation4us.com, www.aviationforus.com. And everything is on the website.
They can donate on the website.
You can donate on the website. You can register on the website. If you want to do a discovery flight, you can do it on the website. My information is on the website. Everything's on the website.
Okay. So, viewers, family, if you're interested, your kids are interested, you have family members or anyone, if you're a teacher, kids at school that are looking to do something different, that may not be into sports, but they just want to do something different than what everyone else is doing, please direct them to Aviation for us, the Instagram, Facebook, or the website, and sign them up, and do a discovery flight, or if you want to donate to support a cause, please do. And since there's really not much else, Winston, Inspector, I want to say thank you
Absolutely.
for being on Talking Sticks. And as I always say, to everyone who's viewing and watching, peace, love, and God bless.